Yo, folks, let's talk about Donna Adelson. I have doing labor law, labor and employment law for over 30 years. I've been across the table from everything from incompetence to competence to outright psychopaths, high functioning psychopaths. So, with that, I feel I have, although I don't have a psychology degree, there are some traits that I recognize. And something I recognized throughout the Donna Adelson trial, but not really caught it on until sentencing. I kind of knew, wasn't certain, but then sentencing. I mean, we've all seen the pictures of Donna Adelson's outbursts. We all seen them. I mean, screaming, outbursts, shock and horror. And then, when everything was said and done, and the judge started the actual sentencing of her, this showed up. This here showed up. And it's not just a moment in time. Let me show you. This is from the sentencing. Still, this uncertainty, still some reactions from Donna until Judge starts talking. Let me skip ahead a bit.
Having reviewed the cases presented by the defense concerning the downward departure, also as well
with
the
the
argument that has been presented, the court has
tissue
reviewed its notes
that's not
of
wet.
the trial and will rule on the issue of downward departure.
Starts
at
to
this
slip.
point.
Look at her eyes.
Florida Supreme Court has a two-part test concerning whether a downward departure should be granted or could be granted by the trial court. The first is whether the trial court can impose a downward departure sentence based on a valid legal ground.
I just want you to pay attention to her compared to
is whether the trial court decides
the
whether
trial
it should impose the downward
and
departure
earlier in the sentence.
based on the totality of the circumstances. As to both the non-statutory grounds that have been argued and the grounds contained within section 921.0026, subsection 2, subsection B, addition 2, the court would still decline to exercise its discretion. As to the sentence in this matter, Ms. Adelson, please rise.
Now look at her. Here,
level of planning and coordination to bring the
realizes
murder of
the game
Professor
is up.
Markel to fruition was significant in this case. These were not crimes of chance or opportunity, and these crimes also required you to conspire with your son and others. You certainly can choose to deny your involvement and maintain innocence. The court finds the evidence in this case is clear. You will be sentenced accordingly this afternoon.
And there it is.
The jury has found you guilty on charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit.
Here, folks, was the moment mask fell off. Let's continue because this is her face for the rest of the reading of the sentence. You can see we are talking about, let's see here, several minutes.
Commit first-degree murder and solicitation to commit first-degree murder, and the court previously adjudicated you guilty as to these same charges on September 4th of this year. On count one.
That, in my opinion, now again, I'm not a trained psychologist. I've only been doing law for over 30 years. This is a face of somebody who lost the game. We have seen her act up in court for weeks. We've seen her act up during this sentencing. We never saw. Did you see any tears? I never saw actual tears. She even had a hard time getting sniffles. That tissue, the same tissue, just crumble up. Not wet tissue. But here, game is up, mask is falling. She keeps that face. And this is a face of hatred, disgust. Not because she's innocent. I mean, we all followed the trial. We all heard the evidence. This is the face of a person who hates that she could not manipulate the court, the jury, the prosecution. This is here, in my opinion, is a person who, we listen to her friends. Yeah, when she's with friends, she's charming. Oh, she does stuff for them. I can almost guarantee that if we sat her friends down and asked, yeah, but what about when she doesn't like anyone? I'm quite sure her friends knows examples of people that she didn't like and how she acted towards them. But that's pure speculation on my part. But I don't think I'm wrong. I do not think I'm wrong. In my opinion, Donna Adelson is calculated, manipulative, and extremely dangerous. Now, speculatively, if she is a high-functioning sociopath, many with that goes through life and never does crime. Donna didn't. She almost went through her whole life until she thought Dan Markel would take her grandkids away from her. I don't know what goes through the mind of people like that. It's, if you're not a psychologist or psychiatrist specialized in these kind of people, it's virtually impossible to know what makes these high-functioning sociopaths tick. We can only see the results of when they get mad. And in this case, Donna Adelson conspired with at least one member of her family to make sure that Dan Markel would never see his kids again, that her grandchildren would never experience Dan Markel's love. I'm quite sure she is also the reason why Dan's parents have had extremely limited access to their grandkids. Because in Donna Adelson's mind, it's worth it. She has no problems throwing Charlie under the bus, as long as she doesn't go to prison. If she could, she would throw Wendy in prison as well. So yeah, that is the face when the mask is off. Ice cold hatred against people she believes did her wrong by convicting her of the crimes she's obviously guilty of. Let's look at the rest of the sentencing. Leave a comment if you think I'm wrong or if I'm right. And do the YouTube things. Like and subscribe.
Charges on September 4th of this year. On count 1 of the indictment for first-degree murder, you are hereby sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole or release pursuant to sections 782.04 and 775.082 sub 1 sub a Florida statutes. On count 2 of the indictment, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, you are hereby sentenced to 30 years in the Department of Corrections that will run consecutive to count 1. The court will also sentence you to 30 years in the Department of Corrections on count 3. Counts 2 and 3 are to run concurrent with each other, but consecutive to count 1. As to the fees and costs, the clerk can please announce those at this time.
$2,100 as a fine pursuant to section 775.083, $105 as the 5% surcharge required by section 938.04, $20 as the court cost pursuant to section 938.06, crime stopper trust fund, $3 as a court cost pursuant to section 938.01 subsection 1, criminal justice trust fund, $50 pursuant to section 938.03, Crimes Compensation Trust Fund, $225 pursuant to Section 938.05, Local Government Criminal Justice Trust Fund, $2 as court cost pursuant to Section 938.15, County Criminal Justice Education, $50 as a court cost pursuant to Section 775.083, Subsection 2, County Crime Prevention, $65 as a court cost pursuant to Section 939.185, County Additional Court Costs, and $3 as a court cost pursuant to Section 938.19, Team Court Assessment.
Is there any lawful objection by the defense to these assessments? There. They will be assessed at this time. The cost of prosecution, the court will reserve jurisdiction on to determine for 60 days. If a hearing needs to take place concerning this matter, that will take place at a future time. As the defense's request for the court to make a recommendation to the Department of Corrections to place Mrs. Adelson in a facility near Miami-Dade County, I have no problem making this recommendation. The Department of Corrections will have the final say because this is an administrative matter. I will also recommend to the department that Mrs. Adelson is not to be placed in any unit or facility that would also house Catherine McVanawa. The court did previously award to the state, based on the September 17th, 2024 continuance of the trial, costs that were related to that. Ms. Kappelman, part of what you're seeking to pursue, is that included within that, or is that a separate number?
Are you speaking of the costs that were ordered in Charlie Adelson's trial?
No. The day Daniel Rashbaum withdrew from the case and the trial had to be continued.
Okay.
All costs related to moving witnesses and other matters.
Yes, sir. I don't know the answer to that, but I'll make sure that they're only in there once.
Very well. The defendant is to be fingerprinted, 30 days to appeal. Please file the appeal promptly.
May I approach the clerk? We have put I had written on the letters that I had, so we put a composite together and I've shown it to Mrs. Kaufman, who has no objection to that.
Please place the sticker on them so that way they can be admitted.
No objection.
We are in recess.
You tell me if I'm wrong, but from the moment the judge started talking, the mask fell off. We saw the real Donna Adelson, not the pretend shocked one, not the pretend cry one, not the friendly, as her friends call it, or loving, as her friends call it. That what we saw there was the real Donna Adelson. In my personal opinion, by my experience, after 30 years, over 30 years in law, high-functioning sociopath who sought revenge because she thought Dan Markel wronged her. And then the prosecution wronged her. Then the judge wronged her. Then the jury wronged her. Because in her mind, she did nothing wrong. Thank you guys for listening in. You all have a good one, and I will see you in the next stream or video. See ya. Bye-bye.